Hey guys, it's Sarah, and today is going to be the next installment of our Christmas Advent book exchange that I'm doing with my friend Lindsay from Lindsay's Little Library and Lisa from Books and Smiles. And I will have both their channels linked down below. They're going to have videos up today too. And this is a continuation of the series that we've been doing for the month of December, where we took the entire year of 2018 and started collecting books that we wanted to gift to one another, and decided that we would do 25 each every day for Advent, and we would send them to each other and then open them on camera for you guys. So just a big box of Christmas bookish cheer. And so far, it's just they have both hit it out of the park. Like, I'm not surprised at all because these girls know me. And I've just been so excited about everything that I have been getting. And I've loved watching them as well open their stuff on camera because, you know, I was a little nervous, but things have been going really well. So today is going to be books 16 through 20. From both Lisa and Lindsay, and let's get started. I think I'm going to start with Lisa's today. All right, so book number 16 from Lisa. Ooh, I've heard her talk about this one. Okay, this is Lying in Wait by Liz Nugent. Yes, Liz Nugent. I remember her reading this recently. All right, so, but I don't remember what it's about. Let's find out. All right, I'm going to read you the first couple sentences of this here because I'm sorry. Okay. The last people who expect to be meeting with a drug-addicted prostitute are a respected judge and his reclusive wife, and they certainly don't plan to kill her and bury her in their exquisite suburban garden. Whoopsies. So that happens. Why? Who is this woman? What does it mean to them? What happened to her? Why is she dead? All that fun stuff. They also have a son named Lawrence, who the wife is really trying to shield him from all of this, from knowing what happened and all that. But he's not as naive as they think. So this sounds interesting. I literally remember Lisa talking about it. So very excited. All right, book number 17. Okay. Ooh, I remember her reading this too. She read this one recently. Life or Death. This is by Michael Robotham. I remember her reading this and she absolutely loved it. It was such a surprise to her that she loved this book. I want to say this is one that maybe her daughter picked for her to read. Yeah, and she read it and absolutely loved it. So let's remember why though. Okay, so this follows a man named Audie, and Audie has pleaded guilty to a robbery that resulted in 4 people dying and $7 million missing. He is arrested. He pleads guilty to that. He's serving 10 years in prison. He gets repeatedly beaten, stabbed, threatened in jail because people want to know where the $7 million is, and they believe that he's the only one who knows where that is. The day before he is set to be released from prison, he disappears from jail. Like, how? What? That doesn't happen, and no one can find him or know what happened to him. Many people are assuming that he ran to save his own life. However, he's actually running to save someone else's life. So who else is involved here and who needs protecting? Very, very interested. All right, number 18. Ooh, yay! It's Always the Husband by Michelle Campbell. I'm excited about this. I do have another book by her. I think it's She Was the Quiet One, and I got that for review, and I haven't read it yet, but I've definitely been wanting to read this one. This one actually came out before that one did. All right, this follows actually 3 women, Kate, Aubrey, and Jenny. They meet in college. They are roommates. They just completely form this bond, even though they are all very different from each other, and eventually they all end up getting married to different types of men as well, and one day, one of them is standing on a bridge and another one is encouraging her to jump. So why? And what's happening? And how did this come about? So yeah, very, very, very interested in this. So thank you, Lisa. All right, book number 19. What is it? Ooh, I haven't heard of this one. Exhibit Alexandra by Natasha Bell. I have not heard of this. All right, so this follows a woman named Alexandra, go figure, and her husband, Mark. Alexandra ends up going missing, and she is being held against her will somewhere. She is forced to watch like news coverage of her husband pleading for her safe return. She's seeing glimpses of her 2 young children and just kind of their grief and their desperation to find her. And Mark just is really, he's the only one who has not given up hope that she's still alive as time passes. And he really has to take action trying to find her and where she is and what's happening. So very interesting. All right. And book number 20 from Lisa. Ooh, I haven't heard of this one either. I love it. Okay. The Long and Far Away Gone by Lou Burney. I love this cover. Okay, this one sounds amazing. So this follows 2 different tragedies that happened in the same summer of 1986 in Oklahoma City. One is that 6 movie theater employees were brutally killed in an armed robbery. And the second was that a teenage girl vanished from the annual state fair, and neither crime was ever solved. No one was ever, tried or convicted or even arrested for either of these 2 crimes. And it happened in the same summer in the same city. And 25 years later, we're going to be following a man named Wyatt. He was a movie theater employee the night that happened, and he survived. He probably wasn't supposed to, but he did. 25 years later, he is a private investigator living in Las Vegas. And we are also going to be following Juliana, who struggles with the past because her older sister is one of the girls, or she's the girl who disappeared and was never heard from again. And Wyatt takes a case that brings him back to Oklahoma City, and he's having to face all these things, and all these memories come flooding back, and things of his case today are starting to tie into what happened before and all that stuff. So this sounds awesome. I am super excited. All right, so now we are going to start with Lindsay's. So this is number 16. It has a note on it, and it says, "Not only will you fall in love with the cover of this book, I have a feeling you will also love the story." All right, let's see. Oh, absolutely. The Hazelwood. This is by Melissa Albert. I have heard so much about this book. So much. And I have just never picked up a copy. But yeah, cover like for real. Absolutely. Okay, so this follows a young girl. Like, I don't even need to read it. I know exactly what it's about. It's about a young girl, and her grandmother is very famous for writing, I believe, some horror novels or a series of novels or something. And I believe her grandmother is either dying or she has already died. So she ends up going to her house, which I believe is called the Hazelwood, to kind of help with the ending of things. And I believe she's kind of thrown into some craziness. And maybe these things are actually real and they weren't stories. So I've heard mixed things about it, but I don't let that throw me off. So definitely still interested in this one. Thank you, Lindsay. All right, book number 17. This one's heavy. Let's see what this is. Heard of this one? I have not. All right. This is awesome. Under the Wide and Starry Sky by Nancy Horan. Man, what is this about? So this is a historical fiction, and it follows Robert Louis Stevenson, who wrote Treasure Island and Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. He actually penned those books, and it follows him in his meeting of an American woman named Fanny and her 2 children who have fled America and decided to start their lives over, and they end up meeting, and he falls instantly in love with her. It takes her a little bit more time to come around, but I think it's kind of their love story and, all that. So definitely interesting. All right, book number 18, and it has a note, and it says, "I'm taking a gamble with this one. It is historical fiction, but not a time you have read a lot in, but it is written in the format of a diary." Ooh, let's see. Okay. 1,000 White Women, The Journals of May Dodd by Jim Fergus. This is actually a 20th anniversary edition, so that's awesome. Look at that spine. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I think this is going to pay off, Lindsay. I think this is a good gamble. All right, so this is told in a diary format, and it's the diary of May Dodd, who is our main character. And she, oh my goodness, okay. This is set in 1875, and she has been committed to an insane asylum because she had the audacity to love a man beneath her station. Okay. Apparently that can get you committed to an insane asylum. And what she finds out is that her only hope of freedom is to participate in a secret government program where civilized women become the brides of Cheyenne warriors. Okay. And it says what follows is the story of May's breathtaking adventures, and she ends up falling in love with a young army captain named John. She also ends up marrying a great chief called Little Wolf, and she is has a lot to write about because she's in love with two different men who are very, very different. So, Lindsay, good call. Good call on this one. All right, so book number 19. Ooh, I have not heard. I've read this author before. The House I Loved by Tatiana de Rosnay. I have read a book by her. I've read Sarah's Key. That's the only one I've read, but I do remember when I read it, I really loved it. All right, so this takes place in Paris in the 1860s, and they are succumbing to the rule of Napoleon, who is literally tearing down houses and burning them to the ground. And Rose lives in this house that has been a part of her family for generations, and she's kind of taken a stand and refusing to leave the house so that they can tear it down. And you kind of follow her journey doing that and what's going to happen because of it. This is actually a pretty short book, but yeah, I have not heard of this. I'm very excited. All right, and book number 20. This is another much needed sequel. Oh, yep, here we go. All right. The Revolution of Ivy by Amy Engel. I know that Lindsay has read this duology and she's really loved it. I do have the first one. I haven't read it yet, but I really want to. So now I have the sequel. I do know that this is a dystopian type of book and that our main character, Ivy, is tasked to kill, I believe, the prince, I want to say. But instead, I think she falls in love with him. And yeah, that's what I'm remembering from the synopsis of the first book. Again, I haven't read it yet, but all right, cool. So I have the sequel. Thank you, Lindsay. All right, guys, that is going to be it for me today. Please make sure you go check out Lisa and Lindsay's channels today, too. I'm going to have them linked down below, and they're going to be opening books from me and also from each other. So I'm really excited to watch those, too. Let me know down below if you guys have read any of these books, if any of them I should make a big priority. And I will be back again on Christmas Day with the last unwrappings for the Advent project. So I'm very excited about it. Hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.